class, I'm going to go ahead and teach you how to, as promised, I will teach you how to get SQL Server installed on your computer. Instead of having to go to AWS to get your database, you will be able to access it directly from your computer. So let's get started. First, what you have to do is to download SQL Server Express. So that's from the Microsoft site. If you do a quick Google search for SQL Server Express, you will get that link, the SQL Server download. So when you get to the link, and I'll post the link to the class website. So when you get to the link, go to download now under SQL Server Express. Do not select the developer, it's much more heavy. So select the Express and then download. Okay. So you go ahead and download that, and then once the download is complete, click on. Okay. Now you have three options to actually run it. You have the basic, custom, and download media. Just go ahead and select the basic, scroll down, and then accept. All right, keep the install location as default, and then install. Now this is going to take a little bit of time. Okay, the installation is completed. Keep all these information here as default. On the bottom, you have four options: connect now, customize, install SSMS, and close. You want to go ahead and click on customize. Do not install SSMS because SSMS is already installed. If you did not have SSMS installed, this would have been a good opportunity to install SSMS in addition to SQL Server. So since the studio is already installed, go ahead and hit customize. So this will open the customization page. Now here, this option allows you to check to include SQL Server in your Windows update, so that it will check for Windows updates when for SQL Server, the SQL Server products as well. Then we want to keep that option on, and then hit next. Okay, that's done. Do not worry about the Windows firewall warning. It's on the local host, so no traffic will be going outside of your computer. Here you want to perform a new installation of SQL Server. Okay, accept the license terms of services. Then here, make sure everything is selected, then next. And you want to keep the instance root directory shared, all these as default. So when you get here, you want to select the default instance. That will put in MSS, Microsoft SQL Server. So MSSQL Server, or MS SQL Server. Okay. So we have that default instance. Go ahead and hit next. Okay. Then the database engine and the SQL Server browser. You've noticed that the password is grayed out. You don't have to touch anything here. Keep this unchecked. Do not check the grant perform volume maintenance task privilege to SQL Server Database Engine Service. So keep this as default and hit next. Okay, now here is one of the most important windows. You have the mix mode and you have the Windows authentication mode. Mix mode allows you to specify your password. If you specify a password here, when you go to SSMS, the username will be SA and the password will be whichever password that you provide. But we do not want to use mixed mode. We are going to use, for the purpose of this exercise, we'll use the Windows authentication mode, so that you don't have to remember a password, and as long as you are logged into your computer, you will be able to access that database. So Windows authentication mode, and you click next. Okay, this is going to download the libraries of files and basically get your SQL Server instance configured properly. Okay, it's finalizing the installation. We're almost done, just a few more seconds and it will be completed. Okay, the installation is successful. We can go ahead and close this, and now we can close this SQL Server 2019 Express edition. Let's close it. Are you sure you want to exit? Yes. Okay, now let's go to SSMS. Okay, and from SSMS here, the service type or the server type will be database engine. The server name will be localhost, and the authentication type is Windows authentication. You might have noticed that we were using SQL Server authentication. We are using SQL Server authentication when we try to connect to the AWS database. For this localhost, since we have set it up as Windows authentication, we will use Windows authentication under authentication type, and then hit connect, and ta-da, we are in. Okay, so here you can create a new database, name my database. Oh. Let's say it seems like my database is already created. You can create a new table under my database one. Let's call it my my table ID, my table name. Okay, and then what? Yep, that's good. And now we have we'll enter the name of the table itself. Let's call it my table. Okay, and the table is created as well. Now let's refresh the tables here. Ta-da, we have this table created. Then we want to select it, and that's it. There is no record in it, but the table is created. That's pretty much the few steps that you need to take to create your own SQL Server on your local machine, and it's free to use. Now, keep in mind it's not meant to be used for development. It's basically meant for personal use. You can work on it for your own project and personal project or whatever the case may be. But keep in mind, this is not part of the class. It's not part of the curriculum. It's good to know, but it's not part of what we're supposed to cover. So it is not required for you to have your instance of SQL Server downloaded and installed on your computer. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. You don't have to. Just keep on using AWS. And also, it's important to know that if you have a problem installing on installing this software or getting it to work properly, know that I will not be able to help on that specific case because it's not part of the class and it's not actually covered. So I will not be able to help you if you have run some tables and you've created some databases and things are not working the way they should. I will not be able to help you on that either. I can help you on things that are created on AWS, but off of AWS on your local machine, I will not be able to help. But that's pretty much it. Now you're good to go. You are no longer limited by the AWS credit. You have a good day.